morning all. Well, the Z400's leaving us today. It's been in with us quite a while, this bike, so I just thought I'd do a quick rundown on what we've managed to do to it. I'll see if it'll come off choke. It might do, it might not. It's trying. I'll knock the fuel off and turn her off. This bike came into us and was a bit of a shock. The owner was asking if we could just do anything with it, really. When it rolled in, the front brakes were seized on, the calipers had been removed and were hanging from the fork legs, and when we went over it, we were really in two minds as to whether there was anything we could do with it. So we had a chat and we said to the owner, right, well, let's just work through it from the basics up. The reason it doesn't run very well on its on idle is you can see the angle it's at on the side stand. The side stand mount's been cut off the frame and re-welded on at slightly the wrong angle, so it leans over so far that on its side stand, trying to idle, the fuel in the carburetors is tipped over quite a long way. It doesn't like to idle. It's fine once it's warmed up and when you're sat upright on it. So we said we'll go through it stage by stage. So first thing we tried to do was take the plugs out, and number 4 cylinder plug was seized in. That took an awful lot of effort to get out. We checked all the electrics over, got a battery on it, we had a starter motor working, we could turn the engine, so we checked compression. We had compression. So bit by bit and stage by stage, we worked through it. We didn't ever want to go too far and realise, oh, we can't fix this bike. So we checked compression, we took the carburetors off, we checked inlet pressure, suction. Thought, well, there's a chance this will run if we give it what it needs. So Oscar took the carbs off, ultrasonic bathed them, fitted new carburetor kits, put those back on again, 4 new spark plugs, checked we had a spark, turned it over, hit the button, and after a bit of encouragement it did actually fire up. The engine itself is quite nice. It's not done an awful lot other than been stored for a very long time, so it's suffered cosmetically, but the internals of the engine were covered in oil, and it's quite a quiet motor. The rest of it cosmetically is challenged, to say the least. The owner's got a lot of work ahead of him to try and polish this up and get it nice and change bits that want doing. He's going to change the shock absorbers. We rebuilt the front brake calipers completely. We stripped and repaired the fork seals. They were leaking quite badly, as you can imagine, after a long time stood. The front mudguard mounting holes in the fork legs were stripped out. We've done those. Some of the electrics worked, then didn't, then worked and didn't. The rev counter cable didn't work. We had the drive at the bottom was gone. 101 jobs, really. And yes, it's not the tidiest looking bike in the world when you get up close cosmetically. It's really suffered, but finishes can be redone. Things can be repainted, things can be polished. The mechanics, well, that's another thing. This is actually quite a healthy motor. It just doesn't look it. The exhaust needs to be replaced, I think. The owner's aware of that. We've had a chat about it. It's blowing and the metal's just so thin it can't really be repaired. So he's going to look into that. We replaced the original fuel tap because it had corroded and the body was pitted and it wouldn't seal up. So we've put, originally they have a vacuum fuel tap on. We've just put a manual on, off and reserve fuel tap on, just a traditional sort of type one there. So you have to remember to turn the fuel off when you stop. But it does work and it does go, which is quite a surprise at one point. Let's see if it'll start back up again. Oop. You see, it sounds quite healthy. And it's trying to idle, so we're not too bad. Anyway, it's heading back to its owner today. Zoltan's come in to collect it. The owner's going to start on the cosmetics, basically going to just start working through it, but he's got a bike he can run and ride, so that's the main thing. And I think after 18 months it's been with us, it's nice to finally see it out and about. It passed an MOT. You might look at it and think, how? But mechanically everything works. That's all the MOT test is about. Doesn't matter about cosmetics. Everything on it works and is safe and is tight. Bearings are good. Got a new chain on it, obviously we had to do that. New pads in the front. The front discs are good. All those mechanical checks, all the electrical checks that you do for an MOT were okay. So it's one of those bikes, at first glance you'd think what the, and then second glance you think it works. And then when you look further into it, you realise, well, actually, why couldn't you ride it? It does work. So yeah, going back today, it'll be a space in the workshop which I'm sure will soon fill with something else coming in.